Alright, so I'm putting this flooring in today. It's a vinyl planking, snapped together. It doesn't have to be glued, it's just free floating. It's kind of like a laminate wood. It's got a tongue and groove on it. And then it's like rubber backing. Supposedly it's waterproof. I've used this in another room, a different style. And I don't remember what the warranty on this is. It's either like 25 years or a lifetime. I'm going to assume it's a lifetime because I don't plan on replacing it ever again. So this is what I got so far. The way you do this stuff is any cuts you're supposed to make, you just do with a razor knife and you just score it and snap it. So it goes pretty quick. I got a little cut here that I had to make around this 2x12 for the steps. And then this here, it'll be like a baseboard that covers. You're supposed to leave some space. You're supposed to leave it acclimate to the temperature first and all that. Yeah, I don't know. It's vinyl. It's in a basement. It's going to be pretty much consistent year-round what the temperature is going to be. I just want to put this floor over top these tile, because these tile are popping up, and these tile are at least 30 years old. I'd say closer to 40. So I'll show you how I put it together and what I do here. You want to stagger the joint so it looks nice. So the first one I started off with was a full, and then I took the next one, I just cut it down so that I got a seam here, and then the next seam coming up, this would be here, and then you know this piece here is going to span until the seam which is here. So I'll show you how to do it here in a second. Okay, so what I did was just lay the plank down, see where I want the seam to be. Then I'm going to use my square here. I'm just going to put a pencil mark so I know where I'm at. And then if I can find my razor blade, utility knife. I bought a brand new blade. It seems to work better when you get new blades. So the biggest thing is you want to make sure your cut is square, because otherwise that's going to goof you up. And am I cutting this the right way? I want to say no. Maybe I am. Yeah, right? No, this isn't right. So I'm cutting on the wrong end here. So that's good to note when you do this. So what I did was lay the plank in, decided I want my seam in here. So I made my measurement here. Had I cut this piece off, I would be up a crick right now. So what you want to do, and this is about that whole taking time here, so you got about 10 1/4 inches. So we'll fix this by taking 10 1/4 off this end, the end with the tongue, and that'll be much nicer. Okay. Alright, so get everything back squared up here again. Again, you want to make sure your cut is somewhat square. I mean, if it's not extremely square, you can kind of make up for it for leaving off the wall, because they want you to use a 1/4 inch space off the wall anyway. But being it's not a wood product, I don't worry so much about the expansion, because they worry about how the joints would like buckle if it got tight, if it took on water. I don't think that's going to be an issue. And again, like where that meets up with that bottom rise, you could put baseboard on there. I mean, you're going to have some space anyway, even around that. So, I mean, to make it look finished, you'd want to put baseboard around that. So here we go. Hopefully this time we got this. Always have a good lighting source here so you can see what you're doing here in the dark. You just want to line it up, and what I do is I just make a real light score the first time, so I stay on that pencil line. And then I go back a couple times here, just make sure that I got it in. And the last time that I come through and scored, I really put some pressure on it to make sure that it's cutting in. And I just can't get over how well this stuff scores. Like, this is like, I don't know why everybody wouldn't use this stuff if you wanted to put a flooring in, because one, it seems like it would last forever because it's vinyl. And it goes so quick, you don't need a saw. So here it is. Here we go. Oops. Alright. Maybe I didn't score it enough. Oh, okay, so there it is. So there it is. And I think I just gave myself a cut. Alright, so that's that. So what I do here is you slide the pieces underneath. You get your seam here hooked, and you see how it's off the floor. Usually that indicates that it's not in all the way. So what I've been doing is I take a block of wood and my hammer here, and very carefully get yourself lined up here with this edge, and you're just going to tap it a little bit, and if you got it, it will, you can see that it's not in here. I'll wait. Let's see if we can get this. There it is. And I can tell, there's a nice pencil line there. Wonder who did that. And then for the seams here where they line up, yeah, it's coming right down now. That's nice. So usually when you get it, when it's in, it'll sit flat on the floor, pretty close to being flat. I always make sure that the tongue part here is lined up. Like this piece here looks like it's out a little bit. You see that just a little? That indicates that it's probably not in here, and then that'll goof you up later on, so make sure that you got that tapped in all the way. Yep, I am bleeding. I sliced my finger open. Cool. Let's go on this now. Alright, so that's what it looks like so far. Moving along. A couple notes. I think this stuff was like $35 a box, and I want to say it covers, is it 19 square feet? I don't know how that compares to like putting carpeting in. I know what we've spent on carpeting on rooms is astronomical, and you can get cheap carpeting, and there's a reason why it's cheap. Some of the carpeting we've put in was obscenely expensive, but it seems to wear much better. The other thing is, always have a Band-Aid on hand, because it's not so much that you're bleeding and it makes you nervous, or that your finger is really in pain because you sliced it on the sharp edge of that vinyl planking making a video, but the fact that you're getting blood all over everything. Like I'm looking here, it's on the knife, it's on the lamp, I'm getting it all over this flooring. I don't know, I must take after my dad when it comes to bleeding, because I know that he would always say bleed like a stuck pig. So yeah, so I'm gonna grab a Band-Aid here and then hopefully get this a little further along, and I'll show you what happens when we get to the end over here on the other side. Alright, I'm going to try showing you snapping it again. I scored this a lot more this time, and hopefully this goes, do it this way, we'll bring the light over here, hopefully this goes a little bit easier. There. See? That's the way it should have worked the first time. That's much better. Alright, one other thing here, you'll see coming out, actually probably past where my door is going to be. I'm just letting it go along for now, because until I get the floor in, I can't do anything with the walls. This wall is going to sit on top of the floor. So I'm leaving this long, and if I have to, I'll come back and I'll just trim this back and snap it, because it snaps pretty easy, and I got a bunch of new razor blades. So once then I get my door, I can figure out where I need to cut this back, and then I'll put probably one of those moldings that holds the trim in place, or holds the flooring in place. Okay, so I got the last piece in here, and there'll be a little space, but like I said, there'll be a trim that goes on top. What I got here is you're going to end up with an odd size piece, so you got to trim it vertically down this piece here for length. Yeah. So the first one I did was a small piece because I'm staggering the joints. I don't know if I'm going to do this with a razor knife or not. It would be way easier to put this on a table saw, if I had a table saw, and just set the fence and rip it. Way quicker, probably way safer than trying to do this with a razor knife and snapping and scoring. So yeah, but the way I'm doing it, if you're interested, so what I'm doing is laying the piece upside down. You flip it end for end and lay it upside down, and then what you're going to do is down here line up your seams. So put a mark here, and then on the opposite end you're going to put a mark here for your width, and then you mark it the length, score it, and snap it. And then when you flip it back around, back the face side here, you flip this piece end for end, and you got your marks. That's the easy way of doing it without having to measure it. You could measure it after and do it the same way, or like I did that first piece, I flipped it end for end, marked it, and then I also measured it when I was going to score it to make sure it wasn't too short. The other thing is too, if you look between the wall here, you can see it kind of gets wider, and the concrete wall isn't exactly square, but it doesn't really that big of a deal. Now the other thing is, someone will say, well, why didn't you balance it and put like a short one over here and a short one over here, 2 pieces to cut? Well, it's twice as much work, and honestly, the way I look at it is, when you run the wall down, the piece is going to look like it's a piece that continues underneath the wall anyway. So yeah, you'll have a short piece in here, but when your wall comes down and sits on top of that, it just looks like the wall continues. I mean, granted, you'll have the seam, and you could have did that over here, but if I end up doing something, you're going to put baseboard on this, so you're going to lose a little bit of this one as well. I just don't think it's worth the time to balance it. Now, if I was doing like maybe a kitchen or a dining room, something that's like, a little bit more important than a space underneath at basement steps, yeah, I might get a little bit more fussier about it, but I think this is going to be just fine the way it is. Okay, you see this piece here is up a little bit, and we're against the wall, so it's hard to like pry it and get it over. You can't tap it with a block of wood. So what you're going to do here, at least what I've been doing, is gently use this Wonder/pry bar, and you see that? It just clicked into place. Now it sits nice and flat. Oh, nice. So yeah, one other thing, this broke off here, putting this in. Is that big of a deal? No. By the time you put your paneling on and then your baseboard, this is going to be covered up probably up to here. Same thing with the space. That's why they want you to leave a 1/4 inch space for expansion all the way around. So if you run your baseboard will cover that space up. I got space on this side too here, you can see. So that's really the way it should be. This actually turned out well. These 2 pieces here, I cut a long one for length. It's doable. I mean, you can do it with a razor knife. You just gotta take your time. It's really this last piece here, these last couple pieces are probably taking me as long as what it took to put in the first part here. But yeah, maybe I'll do a video if I get this done. I don't know if I get sick of it. I'll just run them down by Dad next weekend and have them just zip. Alright, so I'm using a different camera now because my other camera got full, but what I was saying was that if I find it too time consuming to cut them with a razor knife, I was going to do it with this camera. We'll see how this camera does. It'll be interesting to see the difference between the two. The first piece I cut snapped, so I cut a piece and it actually snapped in the wrong spot because I think I was rushing it and I didn't score it enough. The next piece I scored, but I left it a little too wide. And what I really should do is leave more space here. I should leave about like they say, a 1/4 inch gap here, because it's rubbing against the 2x4 coming down, and I can't get the angle in there. And I also, boy, I just keep sniffling here. I can't get it in over there either. Come on, focus camera. There you go. Nice. Yeah. So I don't know. It wasn't going well. I spent about, I don't know, I want to say 2 hours, maybe it wasn't that long, but a good amount of time getting these pieces cut, and then they snapped, and now I'm down to 2 pieces, which is still, I think, twice what I need to finish this. But yeah, I don't know. I took a break, did some snow shoveling. I got 2 cars that need to be washed. I got a book I'm supposed to have read by Tuesday, I think. I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna press pause on this project for now, and I'll pick it up when things are